Hi everybody. So I have had a couple of requests from people who want me to show you how I do my nails. So I'm going to show you how I put on acrylic nails and then how I use the color street strips. I love these things and I'll explain why as I go on. If you're looking for just the color street application, you can fast forward to the ends, but I'm going to show you how I put on my acrylic nails. So, a couple things that I use, and by the way, listen, like I have very strange nails and that nothing ever sticks to them. So if I were to go get polished like a professional manicure, it doesn't last the day. If I got acrylic nails, like a lot of people will last like 2 to 3 weeks. Mine will last about a week, maybe before they start like lifting. About a week and a half maybe. So I'm always in like every 2 weeks getting them refilled. So it's just very annoying to have to do that constantly. So I work really hard at getting these to stay on. You guys may not have to go through as many steps as I do. So what I would suggest that you try first is you're gonna need nails, and I like these coffin nail, and I get the full nail. So it's not a tip, it's actually the full nail. And it did not come in this really nice bag. It came in a nice little acrylic tray, and then I dumped it all over the floor. So, and I didn't feel like separating them all. So I put them all in here. If I had time, I'd probably separate them, and that would save me time as I go, but it is what it is. So what I would suggest, if you use those type of nails and you have nails where things stick to it, I would just try putting them on with some glue and seeing if that works first. If that doesn't work for you, then you can go through the steps that I do. So I actually use acrylic powder, but instead of putting this over top of the nail, I actually put it underneath the acrylic nail. So I put it on top of my natural nail and I put the acrylic on over top, and you'll see how that works. So if you want to try it to do it the way I do it, so you still need glue, and I bought the glue, I think it was like $1.99 on Amazon, so I bought a couple bottles and I put one in my purse and then one here. This is Kiss, and I bought clear acrylic powder. And then there's a couple things that you need to go with the powder. You need liquid monomer. And by the way, all this stuff oh, hold on. I have Schitt's Creek going on in the background. I was just crying myself to sleep. You also need, I have a nail primer kit. It's got a nail dehydrator in it and a nail primer. Okay, so I've got a prep dehydrator and a nail primer in here. And I use that. The other tools that you're gonna need a UV light. Okay, I think I bought this one through Ulta. This is actually pretty old, but it's still working, so nothing wrong with that. It's this brand. Red Carpet Professional LED light. It runs for like 45 seconds. It turns off. There are tons of these out there, so grab it, whichever one Amazon says is a good product. You are also gonna need a nail brush. Okay, it's important to get the right kind of brush, and this one is a number 8 Kolinsky brush. So you're going to be dipping this in the liquid monomer, and it's important to have the right kind of brush, because if you have the wrong kind of brush, it will just fall apart. Okay, so I definitely got this one off of Amazon. This is the number 8 Kolinsky, Kolinsky. I would tell you that I would link everything, but I know myself, I'll run out of time and I won't have time. So if I can, I will. If not, then you have it. Okay, and then you also, this is not a necessary piece of equipment, but I find it very useful. This is a Melody Susie nail file, and it comes with like all these different heads that you could use on it. And then these are, oh, they gave me like 100 of these, so I have these like forever. So I bought that. And you are also going to need a really high grit, really scratchy nail file. So this is 100, 180. So this is, I think, is the 100 side. This is the 180 side. I also use a cube, a file cube. I don't even know what this stuff is called. And then a couple other things that I find really helpful, cuticle guys, and this is just Revlon. I push my cuticles back with this. And then nail file, of course. The other thing that I do use is I use this cuticle and callus remover. Okay. You put it on and it takes away your cuticles, and yeah. So most of this stuff, like I said, I bought on Amazon. The first thing that you're going to want to do before you do anything, of course, is to prep your nails. Okay, so get rid of those cuticles, get rid of any of those harsh edges, and cut them pretty small. I'll probably cut them just a little bit smaller. I know they're very small now, but when you have acrylic nails on, you know, I don't want them to grow out long. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so after you've cleaned up your cuticles, and make sure to wash your hands, soap and water, really good. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to size your nails. So just make sure that they fit in the nail and they fit on it good. Like they're not too tight, but you don't want them to overlap at all. So if there's any overlap, then take your like electronic nail file and file down the sides. Because if it goes over onto the skin, it's not gonna stick as well. Okay, so once I lay out like all my nails, then I take the file and I scratch. Okay, I scratch the inside of it, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get done. Okay, so now I have all of my nails fitted and trimmed if I needed to. And I also have, and you can probably barely see, but see how it's cloudy on the bottom? So I've scratched the inside with the nail drill, and they're ready to go. All right, so next thing I got to do is prep my nails. So I'm first going to grab the dehydrator. I'm going to put this on all my nails. And make sure you're protecting your surfaces, of course. I use a really old towel and some paper towels as well. By the way, all of this stuff like really smells. So you want to do this in a well-ventilated place. Okay, next is the nail primer. Okay, and again, both of these were from the same kit that I bought on Amazon. And it came with this stupid little applicator. Don't use your nail brush for this, because this is the wrong kind of brush, wrong kind of material. So this thing gets like really nasty and stiff, and I just use acetone to clean it. But I brush this onto each nail. And then let that dry. Okay, so next we're going to, got a paper towel handy. Next we're going to use the brush, okay, the liquid monomer, the clear acrylic powder, the glue, and the UV light, okay? And yes, I need all of that Okay, you probably do not need the glue piece. Like I said before, my nails are really weird. Nothing sticks to them. So if I do this, I get about a week and a half before some of them start popping off. And then I can just glue it back on and it'll last another day or two. And so I can get about 2 weeks out of this. All right, so. Oh, and I also use this tool. Like I got this at CVS, I think. It's just a Revlon tool, but this little scrapey end is like really helpful here. Okay, so I dip the brush in the liquid monomer, and then I pick up a little bead of the acrylic, and I put this on my nail, and that is way too much for my little pinky. So I'm going to flatten it. And by the way, I'm doing my right hand first because I'm right-handed, so this is very awkward. But you just kind of play with the bead so that it's not too liquidy, not too runny, but not too thick. So you kind of, if you've ever gotten your nails done before, you kind of see it. So the bead is on there. And then I'm going to quickly take the glue, and I'm just going to put a drop of glue onto the back of the nail. And then I'm going to flatten it down, and I'm going to hold it for a second. Make sure it's straight. It's so annoying when you look at it and it's not straight. And then when it kind of sticks by itself a little bit, I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to scrape off around the sides because I hate doing cleanup afterwards. So I'm going to do it now, and this helps out a lot. And then I'm going to scrape out underneath the nail. So I'm going to scrape out under here because there's always that little bead that comes up, and I hate that. All right, and then I'm going to stick it in the light, the UV light, and I'm going to press down on it while it's in there. And by the way, all of this like really smells. So make sure you have like an open window or a well ventilated spot, because these fumes will get you. All right, so they're all on now. I wish I could leave them this long, like, but no, then I couldn't type or function or do anything. But first thing I want to do is clean my brush. So I'm going to take the monomer again, and just dip it in there. And use the paper towel and just make sure that there's nothing left on it. Okay, and then I put that aside to dry. Then we're gonna take the clippers, all right, and we're gonna cut them down to a little bit longer than what I would want them, just a little bit longer than where I would want them, because I'm gonna file them down a little bit more. So just cut them off. All right, and then I normally do the matching at the same time, just so I can make sure I'm getting them the same length. So just kind of eyeball it. I'm not real particular. Okay, and then take your 100 grit and shape them the way you want it. So I like mine kind of square with slightly rounded edges. So I just make that shape. And then when I get it the shape that I want, I'm gonna take the cube and I'm gonna go around the edges. So like around this edge. And then around the ends. And then I go in both directions. So I'm gonna go up as well, and until I get like a smooth surface. So I'll do that with all the rest and then I'll be back. Okay, so after you get your nails filed down, and I cut them really short because I have a lot of typing to do. And one other thing, like if you have any around the edges, any like, you know, acrylic around the edges, this tool is really good for getting those. And then I smooth them down with the square. Okay. Wash your hands before you put your color sheet on. Wash your hands to get rid of all that fine powder from filing them. And then this is a Halloween set that I got last year, so fingers crossed it still works. I think it will. I've used older sets before and they work just fine. But so it comes with a little alcohol pad. So I always go over after I wash my fingers with the alcohol pad, just to make sure I'm getting all that dust off, because if you don't, then they won't stick as good. But all right, so I have them all laid out. I like to be very organized, so I have them all laid out. And then a tool that works really well, I did not get it out, hang on. Where is it? All right, here it is, a little rubber tipped guy. And you can buy these on Amazon too, and they're really cheap. And you can buy a lot of them, or you can buy a little of them, but you know. All right, so the strips, these are super easy to use. And I love them because they come in so many different little colors and shapes and stuff. But you take the front clear protector off, and then you peel it. And again, these are over a year old, so I'm really hoping that they'll be okay, but they feel okay. And then this little tab at the end, you just pull that off gently. And then line them up really good with your nail. And again, you don't want to go on your skin because they'll peel off. And then I press down, and then I kind of just press as I go, and I give it like a little tug to stretch it out just a little bit. That way it doesn't have any wrinkles. So I just press as I go. Oops, didn't mean to pull that off, but yeah, if you pull too hard, you'll pull it off, but that's okay. And then it's kind of press. And then I give it like a real good press with Now, by the way, if this were my natural nail, normally I leave the thumbs until the very end because I use the thumbs to pick and press. So if you do that as well, leave the thumbs to the very end because you will ruin your thumb. But I have a little bit of extra over here, and then you just take a file and I go down in a down motion. And then just scrape that extra out. Ta-da! Cutie patootie. Again, like I was too busy chatting, not busy paying attention to what I was doing. So I always do the thumb last. I don't know why I did it first, but silly me. And my left hand. Like I did my thumb on my left hand first. Like I really wasn't paying attention. So put that right. And you can pick them up and move them if you need to. Again, I'm trying not to get on the skin, because if you get them on the skin, they will peel. And then I just kind of press and pull. And then sometimes I squeeze it like that at the end to get like a really good seal. And I just kind of twist it off. And then take this guy, file it. Get the extra off. Okay. If the strip is wider than your nail, like you need to get the extra off, and so you can press down, like pinch it, or you can even take this tool. And what I like to do, I actually like to use this end, and I press until I get the little excess off, and then I just kind of scrape it off. So you just got to be like kind of gentle with them. I mean, actually they're pretty tough, but it's when I'm not being gentle when I goof it up. So, all right, I'm going to go do the rest. All right, so one of the last ones is going on, and I just want to show you guys real quick. Like my nails are almost short enough to do this. In fact, they really are. But you can do one strip for 2 nails. So you just be careful with it at the ends and just kind of press down, pull it off. And then you can use this on another. So when my nails are short, I get a good 2 applications out of these. Just FYI. All right, that's it. There they are, all done. Now I'm gonna put some cuticle oil on them, and then that's it. I'm good to go. So I hope you guys learned something. But Color Street's super easy, so if you have the nail length, you know, I would not be scared to try it. It's really, really, really easy. And there's lots of, you probably know a rep, but if you don't know a rep, let me know and I can hook you up with my girl. She's super sweet. But you know, the acrylic, like I said, they'll stay on my nails for about a week and a half before they stop popping off. And I have the glue in my purse and I just put them back on. All right, you guys have a good day. Oh no, stay tuned because I'll show you how to get them off, because you do need to actually take these off. Okay, so here's what I do to remove the nails. So these have been on for, almost 2 weeks. So about a week and a half. So I put them on like Friday night, and then today is Wednesday. So a week and a half. And all of these have stayed on except for that guy. And normally I just, you know, glue them back on, but it's been a week and a half, so some of these are getting a little bit loose. I've actually glued a couple on, but anyway. Okay, so here's what I need. A clipper, a file, and this is like the hard grit one. So this is 100 on one side, I think 180 on the other. And then I take 2 bowls and make sure they're glass bowls. And then you need 100% acetone remover. So what I do is, first I cut these down, Okay, so I'll cut these, the length off. And then I'll put water in this bowl and I'll heat it up in the microwave for about, you know, like a minute and a half, a little less than 2 minutes. I don't want it like really boiling, but I want it really hot. And then I'll pour some acetone in this smaller bowl. So then I'll put it in here and I'll soak my nails like this. All right, and that heat really helps move things along quickly. So I'll soak them for a while and then I'll take the file and just, you know, file them down. And then a little bit more. And then if I have any left over, I'll take this flat edge and scrape it off. I hate prying them off, hate prying them off my nails, so I don't do that. But I will, like if there's a little tiny bit left, scrape it off. And then the little buffer comes in handy too. So that's how I take them off.